on. Not sure if this is working or not, but we're just going to do a little tester and then hopefully it works so we can start recording. Okay, and this is without the mic. Wonder if it makes any difference at all. So apparently this is synced up and working. So we've got this little mic here. It's like my Joby mic that I recently got. So I'm just gonna pop this here. I don't even know if this works or not, but let's just try it. Hopefully that worked. I don't know, it's just dangling really. Blue lights are on, so it must mean we're doing something right. We have got to start driving because we are running late for our shift. Guys, we finally made it. It's the final shift, 7 of 7. It's been a long journey. So thanks for coming with me. I'm gonna swap the camera angle. And well, it's not even on. I don't know if this is working because the blue light is apparently gone now. So, see, that's on. I'm gonna go recording without the mic because I've got no idea if this is on or not. Like, I think it's working because they're both on blue light, but how can I know for sure? See, and now it's off. Alright, don't worry about it. Probably because I haven't read the instructions, so I'll go do that when I have time and figure out how to work it out throughout the night. Until then, we're just gonna go without a mic. So look, we made it. It's the 7th night. Hopefully the audio is not too bad for this little bit. Anyways, as you can see, getting a bit delirious on the 7th night shift. Having a coffee to sort of settle us down and maintain some degree of sanity. It's been a weird week. Like, I feel like when you're on nights, you just honestly take the time out of your actual life to focus purely on work for 7 days in a row. And I mean, they're quite big days. They're 7, like, technically 12-hour days at ridiculous hours. So you're not really functioning, to be honest, at the highest level that you would during the day. You've got to slowly adapt to thinking at night and focusing at night, because 95% of the time you don't do it. It's only for a very small portion of your time that you may be allocated to night shifts. So it's abnormal, it feels weird, it takes a bit of adjusting, but we've gotten through so far. And after this night, we'll have a week off, which will be good. And then we'll actually come back and do 2 more sets of 7 nights in a row. It'll go week on, week off. So yeah, I'll use this next week to rest and recover, but wanted to show you guys how we go about our last night shift. The one thing that you have to do is put your reps in. If you're a medical student, a junior doctor, thinking of becoming a doctor, whatever, the only way to get better at this stuff is to put the reps in, day out, and put yourself out there. If you don't know how to do something, get someone to show you how to do it, watch them, and then you do it supervised once you learn the basics of that skill. And then after that, you do it yourself, and then eventually, once you do that a few times, you can start to teach someone else. And that end step, the teaching bit, that's where the money is. In terms of, I feel like memory it undersells the understanding that you have of that task once you teach. If you teach it and you teach it well, and people understand what you're saying and they will actually learn from your teaching, then that type of understanding of the task that you gain, I don't know what it does to the amount of hours that you need to spend learning it, but it probably like fractionalizes it. If you teach the task and you teach it well, you will actually never have to learn that task again. What's that genetic term? I think it's called like imprinting. Yeah, they talk about it in like molecular genetics, like imprinting, like methyl groups. They put methyl groups on stuff. remember we learnt it at some point during our biomed degree. Oh, if you can think of it, it's like where you put methyl groups on like the genetic sequence to like flag it, and they get passed along like through through genetics and stuff, like certain traits and certain ways proteins are made, and I don't know, all that. Anyways, you like leave such an imprint of that skill on your brain that you honestly will never have to study it again. To be honest, the core foundations of it, if you keep teaching it, it'll just imprint so well that you will understand the nuances of that task to such a high degree. It just becomes second nature. Yeah, it really, once I learned that skill, the way I think about study is completely different. Yeah, once I understand how much of an impact that process of learning a new skill is, my whole approach to study and my thoughts about studying completely changed, because I just feel like the amount of time and energy people put into studying for something is ridiculous, and the outcomes are not justified from it. Yeah, like you could put in 5 hours of study just taking notes, or just listening to lectures, or watching tutes, or reading a book, and it's honestly a waste of time. I mean, think about what you get out of that. And I mean, you just have to do it once or twice to realize how inefficient and pointless it is. So what can you do instead? Well, we'll make a video about this, about how to actually study for something. And honestly, it depends on the type of area that you are studying for. I mean, if we just take a maths test, for example, the amount of people writing notes for maths is ridiculous. It's a waste of time. I don't feel like there needs to be anyone writing notes for maths. And you waste so much time writing notes if you are doing that for maths. And I would highly suggest you not to bother. There are enough notes out there that already explain the stuff that you're trying to understand. So, and people, the counter argument to this is, well, how do I know I understand it if it's not in my own words? And that's a fair argument, but why do you need to write it in your own words? The whole outcome that you're trying to change is your ability to answer a maths question correctly and understand the underlying principle, so you can apply that to any maths question that you get. For example, on a test, or on an exam, or on a like a spontaneous quiz in class, or if you get asked a question, you would like to be able to answer those questions based on from understanding the underlying maths topic or underlying maths principle. So how does notes help that? Well, if you write notes, think about this. If you write notes, then you write them down on a piece of paper or a Word document, or like on a computer or something. If you get asked a question in class, do you have time to look up those notes or read through them before responding in real time? No. You have to actually think on your feet and be able to problem solve and recognize. So if you have to consult your notes before doing that, then like you're nothing more than a Google search engine, because you're looking up the information that you've created. Why not look at these examples and actually practice doing the questions yourself? Learn the video, do it yourself and practice, and really try to understand what you don't get and what you need to learn about the maths problem. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling, because that's very much of a sidetrack. What we are actually going to do tonight is try to get some rest in. Let's get back to the night shift thing, because we are about to start our last night shift of the run of 7. We are excited. We are a little bit tired actually, so that's why we're having a coffee. We'll see what handover is like, and then we're gonna attack the night. Hopefully it's not too busy, and then we can get some rest. And then at the end of it, the plan is to head out to grab some brunch or brekkie once everyone hands over and is finished up. So yeah, it'll be exciting. We can get as many people as we can there. I'll head in to work, get handover, and then see what it's all like, and try to figure out how this mic works as well. All right, catch ya.
Alrighty, so I don't know if this little mic is actually working. I'm charging it at the same time, so we're just going to see if that works. Alrighty, so this might be paired. It looks like it's paired. I'm gonna check this, see if it works. And I think it's flashing, so it should be connected. I'm gonna step away. Alright, it's almost 4 a.m. 4 to 4. Trying to get some sleep. Just need to do one more task. I just need to chart one more medicine for this patient. What did they have? Okay, gonna be around Uber Wednesday afternoon. Oh, okay, just my receipt for my groceries earlier today, so I just need to reschedule this dose. Just give it at 4 a.m. Cool. So let's just call them to. Yep. All right. No, that's fine. They can do that. They will page me if they're more worried about the patient or if the pain's not worsening. If the pain's worsening and not responding, everything's on alarm at 6. Hopefully they don't buzz me until 6 a.m. and I can get 2 hours of sleep. And that'll make it easier to transition to the daytime. So let's get some rest. I am tired. Got a solid 8 minutes into my sleep before I got paged asking to review a high ketones, but the blood sugar's fine and they're not acidotic. Oh, really enjoying. This patient's actually an interesting one. They're the one who had the high ketones before I had the operation to fix their lung infection. Well, it was more than a lung infection. They had an empyema, so a build-up of pus around the lung, needing requiring drainage. It's time for some more sleep. Actually need to get a haircut as well. I don't know what's going on here. It's going all over the place. Alright, something to a tomorrow job. Alright, so we've given up on the mic. It's not working for us, so do not worry. Let me backtrack and tell you about our night so far, because it's been pretty eventful, to be honest. We started off pretty busy. What did we first have to do? I think the first thing that comes to mind is that we had a MET call. It wasn't the first job on my list, but it was the first major thing that we had to do tonight. So the MET call was for a patient who had a fast heart rate and had some decreased oxygen saturations. And when we got there, the patient had an ECG done, and it showed that they were in a ECG rhythm that we call rapid atrial fibrillation, so rapid AF. This had been discovered at least in the past couple of days, so it was new compared to before this admission, but we knew that it had happened a couple of days ago. So and there was also some increasing oxygen requirements. The patient had been in ICU and had just been transferred out earlier today. So on the higher side of priorities to deal with, the patient ended up receiving a medication called digoxin, which aims to revert the rhythm and hopefully slow down the heart rate as well. But we just took off some bloods and they actually don't look too bad. We also increased the antibiotics. We broadened the antibiotic spectrum the patient was currently on. So that was okay. It's always nice to be confident or more confident in a MET call when you have a good answer of what's going on. It's not always the case, and sometimes you just have to treat symptoms and fix things that you see come up and then work out the overall diagnosis afterwards. It's not a bad thing to do. I think in the moment, in the acute setting, whenever you have a patient that's deteriorating, you need to fix the things that deteriorating, like the specific vital signs or the specific symptoms, focus on treating those. And then once you have some breathing space, then you can work out the underlying problem. Because in the high, intense, stressful situations, you often won't get a chance to have time to ponder and work out the differential diagnoses for it. It's actually funny because that patient, just before I got paged about, because they had a chest tube in as well. So they had a chest tube which had a persistent air leak. I had just fixed that air leak. We figured out where it was, and like the chest drains itself are a real like confusing topic, at least for me anyway. It was actually a good chance to revise about what the chest drains actually are and how they work and what to look for. And essentially the middle compartment, I might put up a diagram as well while I'm explaining this, but the middle compartment had bubbling. It's not really meant to bubble. That shows like that there's an air leak. You know, you might know that there's an air leak if they have such a condition like a pneumothorax, and you might be monitoring to see if it's getting better or worse. But this patient did not have an air leak when they were in ICU, and now since they've been moved, they had an air leak. So it was my job to find out where it was, and we actually located it halfway down the tubing. There might have been just a little bit of a disconnection, so we reinforced that and made sure it was tight, and then the bubbling stopped and we resolved the air leak. I was really worried that like I had caused something to happen, but I think the patient is okay now. We're just monitoring for their response from the medications that we've started with them. So yeah, we had to do that. There was another patient who had some ongoing bleeding through the back passage, and yeah, some PR bleeding, and we had to replace their red blood cells because it actually dropped down quite low to 60 earlier in the day. So the bloods, yeah, it was the hemoglobin. The hemoglobin after a couple of units of blood was up to 80. Yeah, but the patient just had another episode of the bleed, so we're just giving another unit now. And I think that's what I was just paged about, that the unit is now complete. So we'll probably just check the hemoglobin to make sure it's improved since then, and we'll just monitor the patient for any ongoing bleeding overnight. What else have we been up to? There's been a couple of, there was a patient who we're monitoring the ketones in. They've got a new diagnosis of type 1 diabetes and had just come back from theatre because they had an infection in their chest that needed a thoracic operation to drain it. It's called a VATS and decortication, fancy terminology for going into the chest and removing all the pus and fluid and yucky stuff that's a result of the infection buildup. So they're actually okay. We're just monitoring them to make sure their blood sugars are okay. I was actually just trying to get some sleep before I've moved into one of these rooms so I can finish off a couple of things and then get some rest, hopefully, because I want to try and transition back into the day-to-day schedule a bit easier. Let's go through a couple of jobs that I have. So the blood cells are finished, so I need to order a repeat hemoglobin. So we call them an FBE here in Australia, full blood examination. You may call them something else overseas if you are listening, like an FBC, like a full blood count or something like that. We call it an FBA. Just order that. Delete. This patient has a non-urgent problem. This other patient has some fluids that they need. Bed 3. Let's try to find them on the system. Wow, this patient with the PR bleeding just bled again, 100 mils. I might talk to my registrar because we might need to rescan them, to be honest. Seems like they need to be rescanned, in all honesty. Let's just chart these fluids really quick. They have fluids. They have fluids charted. If requires another bag of fluids. Looks like they have a bag of fluids charted. Why am I? Order some more. Check if they're fasting. Yeah, okay, so they're on feeds. Probably can do with some fluids. Alright, I'm going to chart them up. So going to order a repeat VBG now. So now this patient has had 2 units of blood yesterday. They've now had a 3rd unit of blood. In all honesty, needs to probably get rescanned and then embolize the bleed. So it's just a question of whether we need to do that right now or if we can wait till the morning, which I think we can probably wait. Okay, and then there was my patient who had the Met call, who just needs some modifications of their oxygen saturations. Tolerate 90 and above for now. And anything else I need to sort out? I don't think so. I really just want to figure out how this microphone system works. I don't know why it's not charging, but for some reason the other USB-C cords that I have are not charging the Joby system, so I don't know what that's about. Anyways, I'm gonna call my registrar and see if she wants to do a scan for this guy who keeps having the PR bleeding. Otherwise, we'll just keep replacing his blood and wait till the morning team to sort it all out. But we'll see if the patient's actually okay. Temperature's fine, blood pressure's good. See what the reg wants to do. Alrighty, so this is gonna be a short one because I'm not sure how much longer my battery lasts. We just all went out for brekkie, which was really nice. The whole crew on night. So yeah, went out for a nice brekkie / brunch, and that was really cool. So I think it was a nice way to cap off everything that we had been through. I mean, some people had quite a rough couple of nights, and others had, we just had to like help each other out. There was some people calling in sick and we had to cover for each other and whatnot. So I think I said in one of the other videos that like, it's not really about like doing your job and then racking off and just like chilling out or sorting out your own stuff. You really work together to collectively get through the night, because you never know who you need to like ask for advice or touch on. Like, I'm on surgery, but like if I have a medical issue that like I'll probably need to consult the medical people to get them to help me out, because that's their domain and that's what they are all on top of. If I don't help them, then why would they want to help me? So I think changing your mindset when it comes to nights, from just focusing on your specialty to collectively trying to help everyone out to get through the night, that's a great way to start thinking about it, and how most people should actually be thinking about medicine, to be honest. It just works better for everyone involved. But yeah, the last little bit of nights was not too bad. What did we have to do? We had to follow up on a few of our patients that we've seen. We just had to follow up on a few of our patients that we had seen earlier. A couple of the sick ones that had a Met call and had a few different issues here and there. So just chasing up their blood test results and making sure they weren't deteriorating was the main thing that we had to do. Little jobs that popped up, like charting fluids or charting different medications, charting some pain relief for patients. But it was mainly straightforward after about 2 or 3 a.m. So yeah, that was okay. The night was pretty good. I actually didn't manage to get any sleep. I rested for a little bit, so today's gonna be a bit tricky trying to stay up as much as we can. I'm probably gonna get home and crash. However, I will try to stay up for a little bit longer. If I can get through to the afternoon without sleeping, that would be amazing. Really not too sure. We actually didn't get to do any procedures as well, so that was a bit frustrating, but hopefully next time I'll show you what we get up to and how I set up for those procedures and everything like that. I think we'll reflect on these nights a little bit later on. I think we did pretty well.
yeah, I think we managed well and we learnt a lot. And I think that's the main thing. Like, I want to not only just survive the nights and then hand over to whoever it is, but it's about learning as a doctor and becoming better and much more experienced and everything like that. I don't want to not learn anything. I don't want to not learn anything from these night shifts. So if I can become more autonomous, more independent, more knowledgeable, and more like a more adaptable, then that's an absolute win. And hopefully I've just got a step closer to achieving that. But yeah, I mean, nights are tricky, so it's you shouldn't get hung up.
Where have you been? It's like I waited all my life, so happy that I'm
having
found
fun.
you. I'm paper thin. I haven't always been this shy, but haven't felt this in a while now. So sad when we are apart. If you leave, you break my heart. I need you to need me too. Stay with me when it's getting dark. Hold me tight, close